Hi everyone, this is Brad from Board Game Geek. I'm here with Seth from Subaltern Games, and we're going to talk a little bit about his new game, Neocolonialism. Can you just start out by telling us a little bit about the game and how it works?
Yes, so Neocolonialism is a Marxist macroeconomic strategy game, and your goal is to extract as much wealth as possible in 12 turns. You're going to be doing this by buying and selling government votes, manipulating parliament, making free trade agreements, and ultimately what you're trying to do is liquidate your assets or your votes, run with the money and throw it into a Swiss bank account. Whoever has the most Swiss money is the winner.
Cool. And you've said that you're an educator. How does that influence the design of neocolonialism?
Well, neocolonialism is meant to be a very new paradigm of how to make turn-based strategy games, or games in general, in that the theory behind the game is synonymous with the strategy, such that you cannot play this game without understanding basic dependency theory.
And will the game teach you that if you don't already understand basic dependency theory?
Again, you cannot win this. If you start understanding useful strategies in the game, those are all based on dependency theory. For example, in most games, in most board games in particular, if you have the option to build, you should, or it's a matter of like, should I build A, B, or should I build later? And that's almost always the case. That's not the case in this game. In many cases, you want to keep the world poor, except for a few cash spots. And once you realize this, you've understood a core piece of the theory, and you start playing better. Great.
That makes sense. It's kind of a sad truth, but do you have background in board games, and what board games influence neocolonialism?
I play Diplomacy, Imperial, if you know that game. Settlers of Catan. There's a lot of Euro-style influences behind this game, and me and my friends have been playing that, and then we started saying, it should be the whole world. There's no war, there's no armies, it's just finance, and it's about the International Monetary Fund. That was the genesis of this game.
Great. Will it be multiplayer only, or is there an AI or single-player way to play?
This right now is the single-player game. It's the single-player. The AI is terrible, and most of the game is about negotiating. So the single-player is free. It is primarily meant to be online. That would be a $10 online account.
Great. Could we check out some of the game right now? Cool.
Okay.
Go ahead and talk about it, and I'll.
Right. So this is turn 1 out of 12 in the investment phase. We're right now playing against two AI bots named Diamond and Rockefeller, and they just bought votes in the Middle East. And for a variety of reasons, it's almost always in our interest to buy where other people have bought. It's very, very difficult in this game to wield power just by yourself. So we're all buying votes in the Middle East, and we're going to do that until we run out of money. The price per vote is over here, and personal capital is up here. When I hit pass, and I know that they're going to pass because I made the game, when I do that, we're going to trigger the policy phase. And in the policy phase, we have to elect a prime minister among the three of us using the votes over here, which we just purchased. I could just vote for myself. However, if there is no majority winner, no one makes money. So you want to be prime minister, but you want a prime minister. You don't want there to be none. Everyone loses that way. So this is where a lot of the negotiating comes into play, because then I'd be like, well, I'll back Rockefeller in this vote if Rockefeller helps my free trade agreement over in Russia. And there's a lot of that happens, not in the single player, obviously. So we got elected as prime minister, and we can make one of these decisions. We can build one or two buildings, propose them to build them, or we can make a free trade agreement. The fourth option is the one where we take our votes, liquidate them into Swiss money. And we don't want to do that just yet, because each vote gives us income. They generate income to buy more votes. So if I were to press this button, I get a warning that says, like, don't do that, because this is your source of income right now. You don't have alternatives. So I'm going to propose a factory. And the IMF phase happens automatically because the AI was controlling it. What happened is there was a crisis in Australia, and that's why it's grayed out. There was a natural disaster which destroyed the factory, which was a terrible tragedy. The International Monetary Fund intervened by doing nothing. They did nothing, and the reason the AI chose not to do anything is because by not rebuilding the factory, the vote is very cheap right now. So this doesn't help Australia, it helps the investor because the votes are super cheap, then we buy them, maybe we'll develop later, maybe we'll cash out, we'll decide.
Very interesting, and I guess these sorts of patterns continue on throughout the duration of the game.
Right, absolutely, and there's even more to show, but it's about the same level of depth as Catan, as opposed to, say, a Paradox game. So the rules are relatively simple, but very deep.
Very interesting. So if players are interested in this game, where can they get it, or how can they check it out?
You can go to my website, subalterngames.com, to play the alpha for the moment, because once I roll out beta, I may choose to take down the alpha because it's no longer indicative of what I'm doing. This is pre-beta stuff. Beta will be out in a month, final release in the summer.
Great, and that will be through Steam or another platform?
Well, tonight I'm going to a mixer with some Valve folks, so we'll see. Otherwise, it would be on my website, distributed that way for PC, Mac, and Linux.
Great. It sounds like a really interesting game that has a lot of historical context while still not being too complex in the rules, like a Paradox game, for example. Yeah, thank you very much, and we look forward to checking it out.